Welcome back to the Retrain the Brain for Chronic Illness podcast. I'm your host, Madeleine Lowry, a neural retraining specialist, helping people regain emotional, mental, and physical health through an advanced method of neural retraining. In our last episode, we talked about how worry and rumination keep people stuck in chronic illness. And today, I want to explore the opposite. What is the optimal mindset for healing? What does it mean to think, feel, and live in a way that promotes recovery, balance, and ease? To answer that, we are going to look at some timeless wisdom from the Tao Te Ching, one of the foundational texts of Chinese philosophy. Tao means the way, and I want to share how the way of health can guide your healing journey. If you've been living with chronic symptoms, you may know this inner conversation all too well. Why me? Why now? Why can't anyone help? And why is this happening to me? That is the voice of resistance. It is the mind pushing against reality, hating what is, fearing what's next, wishing things were different. And it's exhausting. When you've been sick or in pain for a long time, that resistance starts to feel justified. But here's the thing. The mind and the body can't heal when they're at war with each other. When we fight against our experience, when we treat our body like an enemy, we create an internal split. And our nervous system stays on high alert. The body interprets our own thoughts and emotions as threats, and that perpetuates the stress response, what functional medicine doctors call sympathetic dominance. The harder we try to force healing, the more tense, fearful, and defeated we feel. This is what it means to be out of harmony with the way. You've probably heard the saying, "What we resist persists." It's simple but profound. When you resist something, your diagnosis, your pain, your fatigue, you are giving it energy. You are feeding it attention and emotion, often in the form of fear, anger, or despair. Resistance keeps the mind fixated on the problem, looping in negative thoughts like, "I will never get better," "My body is broken," or "I can't handle this anymore." And the more you push against it, the more power it seems to have. That is the trap. The mind thinks resistance equals control, but in reality, resistance equals tension, and tension equals stress. And the nervous system cannot heal in that state. So what is the alternative? Acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up or pretending that everything is fine. It means being at peace with what is, right now, without judgment or resistance. There is a wonderful metaphor from a simple childhood toy, the Chinese finger trap. When you pull your fingers apart, the trap tightens. The harder you fight, the more stuck you become. But if you relax and push inward, the trap loosens and releases you. Healing often works the same way. When we stop fighting our symptoms and lean into acceptance, the nervous system relaxes. The body finally feels safe enough to begin its repair work. And that is the paradox. What we can accept can finally change. The Tao Te Ching teaches that the way of life and the way of healing is found in simplicity, patience, and compassion. These are called the three treasures. Simplicity means letting go of over-efforting. When you've been sick, it is easy to fall into doing mode, always searching, researching, supplementing, tracking, fixing, testing. But real healing often begins when we simplify, when we stop doing so much and start being. Patience is another key. The body heals in its own rhythm. Trying to control or rush that process only creates more stress. When you can say to yourself, I trust that my body knows how to heal in its own time, you invite peace into every cell. And compassion, the third treasure, is perhaps the most powerful. So many of my clients are harsh with themselves, blaming their body or feeling like they have failed. But the truth is, self-judgment keeps you in fight or flight. Compassion communicates safety to the brain. It says, I'm on my own side. When we embody these three treasures, simplicity, patience, and compassion, we align ourselves with the way. One of my favorite teachings from the Tao Te Ching is the idea of doing by not doing. In Chinese, it's called Wu Wei, and it means effortless action. It is about acting from a place of alignment and flow, not force. When we are constantly striving, we are swimming upstream. When we relax into trust, we move with the current of healing. This does not mean we stop taking action. It means we choose the right kind of action, inspired, balanced, and calm. We take our supplements. We keep our appointments. We attend our sessions. We rest when we need to, but we release the frantic need to control outcomes. As the Tao Te Ching says, less and less do you need to force things until finally you arrive at non-action. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. When you can reach this place, your healing accelerates naturally. The body knows what to do once the mind gets out of the way. So how do we live this way, in harmony with health? We start small. Keep your days simple. Choose rest over pushing. Let go of timelines and expectations. Be patient with yourself, even if progress feels slow. Be compassionate with your body, even if it's not doing what you want it to do. Do what you enjoy. Minimize what drains you. Empty your mind of the constant stories about past or future, and instead be fully present with what is. When you can say, even if this never changes, I can still enjoy my life, you create a deep sense of safety in your system. And that safety, that peace, is what allows healing to unfold. Let me share a few reimagined lines from the Tao Te Ching, written for anyone living with chronic illness. A good patient has no fixed plan and is not intent on recovery. When there is no desire, all things are at peace. When you accept all states of health and find peace in the midst of them, you embody the light that brings healing. There is no greater illusion than fear, and no greater misfortune than making your state of health your enemy. Whoever can see through all fear will always be safe. When you stop fighting and start allowing, you return to your natural state, a state of being, vitality, and inner peace. That is the true way of health. Thank you for joining me today. If this episode resonated with you, I invite you to explore more about how neural retraining can help you reconnect with your body's innate healing potential. If you like what you are hearing, please listen again and remember to follow us and leave a review on iTunes or your favorite podcast app. You can learn more at tcneuralretraining.com, where you'll also find my free quiz and group session information. Content of this podcast, copyright 2025, by Twin Cities Neural Retraining. Music by Barbara Ben.